Chapter 8 Life is Mysterious. Professor Narayan Murthy is suffering from cancer in his leg. He is to be operated on in a few days, so Yuji and Mahesh have decided to go and see him in Seaside near San Francisco. We all will go to the Los Angeles airport to see them off. We drove in 2 cars and arrived in Los Angeles from Palm Springs. After they left, we went to an Indian restaurant for lunch in Hollywood. The topic of discussion was how we would pass our time in the coming 2 days. I soon realized that there was no consensus on how to spend the next 2 hours, let alone the next 2 days. Julie wanted to take me to a spiritual bookshop, while Tanuja wanted us to go to a movie. I told Tanuja that for the last 21 years, I had not entered a movie hall. Tanuja looked stunned and, holding her head in her hands, slid down the chair. She said in an unbelieving tone, "I myself don't know what I'm doing here. Some event is surely going to take place." The reason for saying all this was that Tanuja was trying to become a film director. In the meantime, a script written by her for the movie Tamanna was given an award at a film festival. Here she was amongst people whose background she just could not understand. I told her not seeing movies must be in my blood. I had never seen my father enter a movie hall. Julie asked me in a surprised tone if I had never taken my wife, Lakshmi, out for a movie. Lakshmi was a researcher in an American university studying the structure of proteins. I said, "Nope, we have never ever gone to a movie together." By now, all desire had died out in these people. All were feeling gloomy and directionless. We decided to go back to Palm Springs and rest in our rooms. In the meantime, Mario and Lisa had finished a few bouts of fighting, hence they were grim. Julie said that whenever Yuji went somewhere, those who were left behind often faced this kind of desolate sadness. I thought this was really strangely funny. Everything here seemed straight out of a storybook. I felt this day was a holiday from spiritual sadhana. We could get up as late as we wished. There was no hurry. For me, the whole day seemed to pass in a light-hearted mood. I phoned New Jersey in the night and spoke to Lakshmi and my 2 daughters, Shilpa and Sumedha, for some time. They were feeling my absence, especially Lakshmi. I was remembering the past while lying on my bed at night. In 1971, I was a mere freshman at Presidency College in Calcutta. But due to my ability to play soccer, I rubbed shoulders with the big goons. Besides, I gathered more friends due to my predisposition for politics. Either I was to be found at the coffee house on College Street or on the sidewalk searching for books in the bookstalls the whole day. Slowly, a thought had become firmly rooted in my mind that in return for what I received from society every day, I had to give something back. The tendency towards emotionalism in my younger days, combined with the desire to do good for others, led to this kind of thinking. Just think that what you eat, the clothes you wear, and the house you live in are all due to the blood and toil of others. Yet, a majority of them are the very people struggling in life without an opportunity to get food, education, and treatment. The main providers of luxury in your life are these people. How, after knowing this, can you blindfold yourself like a farming bullock, focus on the tip of your nose, and concentrate only on making your career? Who is your driver? Where is your conscience? The people whose story of valor brought reverential tears to your eyes. Were they any less capable than you? Did they lay down their lives to create this society for selfish people like you? O Sabyasachi, who gave you this name with hope in their hearts? If you ever call anyone selfish again, then know that there will not be a bigger fathead and blind person than you on this earth. With great difficulty, I slept a little in the last part of the night. Yuji and Mahesh have returned from visiting Professor Murthy. Julie, Mario, Lisa, Tanuja, and I went to receive them at Los Angeles airport in the late afternoon. When they emerged, I noticed a peculiar thing. Yuji was looking at me, yet it felt as if he had not recognized me. His eyes pierced mine, but it seemed he was looking at something far beyond them. I waved my hands in front of his eyes and called out, "Yuji, Yuji," to him. He seemed to come out of the trance. He smiled and said, "Hello, hello, when did you all come? Our flight landed 10 minutes back." He went on like this. On being asked about Professor Murthy, he said that he was fine. He was mentally ready to fight against the cancer. Yuji said, "He is a philosopher, yet seeing me, he said that an unusual courage had arisen in him." Murthy had an astounding dream that Yuji breathed his last on Murthy's lap in California. Yuji reassured Murthy that his dream would come true, and hence he, Murthy, would survive for a long time. At present, Professor Murthy is completely healthy. Yuji got into our car and sat in the front seat, Mahesh and me in the back. Julie was driving the car, and after some time, I could not keep my eyes open and lost myself in sleep. When I opened my eyes, I found we were coming off the highway. Julie said she needed to put petrol in the car, so she wanted to stop at a gas station. We filled the tank and had a cup of coffee. When it was time to return to the car, Julie took me aside and whispered, "Guha, the gas was only an excuse. I can barely drive. I cannot keep my eyes open. It's as if somebody is forcibly drawing a curtain in front of my eyes from inside. Will you drive for some time?" It had always been Julie's dream to drive the car with Yuji sitting next to her. Anything greater or more joyful than this is beyond her comprehension and thinking. Julie would have found it easier to hand over her loved ones than to hand over the driver's seat. Surely something must have happened today, otherwise she would never ask me to drive. I replied that it was okay. I would drive, but wasn't her drowsiness better now after drinking coffee? Julie replied, "No, I'm still not able to keep my eyes open." At last, I told Yuji that Julie was tired, and since Mahesh would not drive in America, I would have to drive now. I had never driven a car with them. None of them knew what kind of driving ability I had, and this would be the first time I would be driving in California. And the passengers were the born great Yuji Krishnamurti, Mahesh Bhatt, and Julie Thayer. Yuji asked me if I had my driver's license with me. I replied that I did. "Then what else? You drive and let Julie rest," he replied. I started my journey with Yuji in the seat next to me. Nobody spoke throughout the drive. When we reached the lodge, I stopped the car, and everyone got down. Yuji announced, "That's it. As long as Guha is here, he will drive me around." Although Julie was fond of me, right now her expression was sad, and she was finding it difficult to forgive her great desire to sleep. In the evening, it was decided that early next morning we would leave for Las Vegas. So, everybody departed to their respective rooms early. I kept on feeling everything was turning upside down in my head. Events in the past felt as if they had taken place recently. I must have slept for some time when an explosion in my dream woke me up. I once again remembered events in Presidency College. One day, as usual, I got out of the coffee house, crossed College Street, passed through the iron gates of the college, and after walking for some time, I climbed the stairs on the right and went straight to the third-floor veranda. I looked down at the iron gates towards College Street. Barely 1 or 2 classes were going on, as there was a boycott of classes by students. There was suppressed excitement all around. There was no direct information, but it was known that there were preparations being made for a quote-unquote big action. Maybe that information had also reached the nearby police station. Otherwise, why should 2 black police vans come and stand near the gates? Many policemen got out. All had guns in their hands. Nobody was either entering nor exiting the gate. The atmosphere was silent and gloomy. Suddenly, there was an earth-shaking, ear-splitting bomb explosion. I peeped out and saw a ball of smoke come up to the 2nd floor from the area near the iron gates. Before we could understand what was happening, there was another sky-piercing explosion. There was now a lot of noise and chaos below. Trams, buses, and cars had all come to a stop. Maybe some policemen were injured. By then, the police had lifted their guns and passed through the iron gates and entered the college. My friend and I were against the wall, hiding behind a pillar on the veranda. I heard someone say that nobody should stay on the veranda. I peeped out. Immediately, a bullet whizzed past my head. Before I could understand anything, I saw someone fall down about 10 feet away from me, probably head on the shoulder. I ran to the office and asked them to get an ambulance as soon as possible. While returning, I saw the policeman running up the stairs like you see in Hindi movies. In a nearby classroom, a professor was still teaching math to a few students. My friend and I entered without permission and took our seats in front of a table. The professor must have thought that it was we who had thrown the bomb and came here to hide, but still, he carried on as if nothing had happened. Just a few minutes later, an official of the college, accompanied by a senior police official, asked us, "Come out of the class in a line." We saw that many others were also standing in lines in the veranda. The injured boy was carried away on a stretcher by the police. Small droplets of blood showed the path taken by the unconscious body. A senior officer spoke, angrily and with a gesture displaying intense irritation, and said, "If you want revolution, why come to college? See, he has been hit by a bullet. A brilliant boy. His parents are dreaming of big things. Now the unfortunate parents will have to claim his body from the morgue." I thought in my dream, life is so mysterious. End of chapter 8.